Yo, what is up YouTube? And welcome back to another FragPunk YouTube video, man. Today's video is going to be a little different than my other ones. FragPunk just came out on console today with the new season. So what I wanted to do was, man, I wanted to make a 6 tips for beginners video, man. I've never done this before. This will be my first time actually doing a full tips and guide kind of video. So it might be a bit rough, but I do hope it does help y'all out, even if it's just a bit. All right, so enough yapping, and let's get to it. First tip we're going to talk about is angles. So essentially, FragPunk is a slower version of Call of Duty, yet a faster version of Valorant. It's a good little mixture of both. But take mind, in this game, while you can still be aggressive, you shouldn't rush into sites because of our first tip, which is, of course, angles. Let me explain. So the first map we're going to be talking about is Yggdrasil. Every single map has tens of different kind of angles, right? So I'm going to show you 3 examples on 3 different maps. The first example will be Yggdrasil. So this right here is the full map, right? Every map essentially looks around the same. There's a B side, there's an A side, and then there's a mid size, right? There's different strategies that you can use in this game. You can either rush B, rush A, rush B to B, rush mid to B, or rush mid to A. That's a whole different topic that we could potentially get into in a future YouTube video. But for now, we're going to be talking about angles. Most of these maps are defender oriented. So the defender usually gets to an area a bit quicker and it has more time to kind of set up. So the first angle we're going to talk about is Yggdrasil's mid angle. Up here is the attacker side, down here is the defender side, right? What you want to do is you want to reach mid as fast as you can and kind of set up this peak and just wait. Eventually, the attackers will show up. Now, here's an example of me as the attacker. See, so it's really important not to kind of rush in. This game does require a lot of patience, but that doesn't mean you can't be aggressive. And that all depends on what Lancer you pick, or on if you're just a god player and you just don't miss your shots, right? But we'll get into that on one of our other tips. All right, let's go to the next map. The second map and angle that we're going to be looking at is in Black Market. This one is known to have a lot of peaks, right? But we're going to focus on one main one. So this right here is the map. It's about the same thing as the other one. You got your A, you got your B side, you got your A side, and then you got your mid, right? It's the exact same thing. But we're going to talk about a peak here on A side, okay? So here on A side, usually when the attackers want to rush A, they'll run through garden, A cafe, into A main. Now, here is one of the angles that you need to watch out for. So the angle is pretty much you walk up here and the attackers are going to come through this side, right? And you have a perfect angle right here. In this game, the windows are bulletproof, right? So you can actually use that as to your advantage. Use the environment to your advantage. So you can kind of hide, you can peek. The moment you see them, you can uncrouch, kill, then crouch. Here's an example. Now here's an example on the attacker side. Now for the third and final map, we got Naus. This one right here is known for the dumbest sniper angle. And let me show you guys. This right here is the map. Same thing, right? You got B side, you got A side, and you got mid, right? When attackers rush A, this is a perfect angle for you to defend, right? You kind of stand up here. You can either get up here, which is not optimal because they'll be able to see you and kind of shoot you. What you want to do, you want to try and find the best head glitches. You can get up here, kind of peek, hide a little bit behind this little ball. And the moment you see them walk up, you shoot to kill. Here's an example. Now here's an example on the attacker side. So the overall summary of the first tip is, guys, don't just rush in, be careful, watch out for these angles that the enemy team could have on you, or you try and get to those angles before the enemy team does. so you can have control over the map. Now for our second tip, we're going to be talking about our secondary weapons. In this game, we have these pistols that have a secondary action. For example, we got the burner, we got a smoker, we got a flasher, and we got a blaster. The burner is pretty much it's a normal gun when you shoot it, but you can shoot a ball of fire, and it'll just cover the whole ground with flames, right? The smoke does the same thing, but just with smoke. The blaster does the same thing, but it's like a grenade or something. And the flasher, it's just a flash grenade, right? But it does flash you too, so be careful. Now, a way that you can counter the flash on you is you shoot, you look back, and then you turn back around. Now, the reason these are so important is because these could change the outcome of the game. And let me show you guys how, right? So here we are currently on the defender side, right? Usually the attackers will come in through these doors if they want to push mid. Now what you could do is, on the map, you see the green kind of cursor. That's me, right? But you see how above, there's like a little kind of circle that has like a little flame on it. That shows you where the flame is gonna fall, right? So what you could do is, right before the round starts, if you have a feeling they're gonna rush mid, or if you don't want them to rush mid, you can kind of angle it at the door and shoot. What that'll do is, that'll potentially make them change their strategy and make them either push A or push B, or sometimes they will still push regardless, right? But it does help out a lot. Now the third tip is something I like to call counter angles. I actually think there's an actual name for this that Valorant players use and stuff like that, but since I don't play, I don't really know it. So we're gonna make up our own, all right? And we're gonna call it counter angles. Counter angles is pretty much it's in the name, right? The beautiful thing about this game is they made it to the point to where there's a way for you to counter the angles that I just showed you, right? Because if not, the game would just be broken and you wouldn't be able to do anything. And here's an example. So if you're attacking and you know that there's an enemy team holding that one sniper angle, there's different ways around it, right? The first one would be, in this game, when you charge up your knife and you let go, you'll dash forward a little bit, right? So the way you can counter this angle would be is charge up your knife, walk up, and dash in. The second way you can counter it would be by grabbing a smoke, shooting it on the ground to cut away the visibility of the snipers and rush in. All right, guys, so now we're back to market for the counter angle, all right? So as I showed you earlier, right, you can just kind of stand here, peek this, and kill them, right? Yo, what is up, guys? So it's editing Caesar here, and I realized that I didn't show y'all this peek. I ended up showing y'all a different peek on the video. So just so y'all understand this counter angle, let me show y'all a clip of this specific angle so y'all could understand the counter attack. So essentially it's the exact same thing, right? The defender holds this spot right here, aims, waits for the enemy to pull up, kills him. And here is the example of the attacking side. Now that y'all are caught up, let me show y'all the counter attack. A way you can counter that is, again, by grabbing your burner, finding that little angle, shooting, and either killing them or making them back away. Again, that's not the only angle that they could have. There are multiple angles in this little area, right? That'll be something that you will learn as you play the games, right? You'll know where you're getting shot from, where you're getting killed, and then you can find these angles, right? That's why this game has a lot of kind of like broken glass or open roofs, so you can, use your weapons to throw your burners or your frags or whatever it is in specific parts, right? To kind of make them back off. All right, and now we're back on Yggdrasil, the third and final counter that I want to show you guys. So remember how I showed you that the defense side will have kind of mid already set up, and if you peek, you'll get killed? Well, there's a way to counter that, right? You have a wall here that covers you up. So what you could do is, again, same thing. Take out your burner, walk out, aim, right to where you think they'll be, and then just shoot your burner. And again, that'll either kill them or make them push back, and it gives you enough time for you to kind of set up. For our fourth tip, we're going to be talking about shard cards. So pretty much, as you know, shard cards kind of run the whole game, right? Every game you play will have a shard card that can change the outcome of the game, right? But what I want to talk about is the cards that you think do nothing, but that actually do, right? A lot of these cards are more noticeable than others. For example, big heads is more noticeable than melon rinds, right? One thing that I noticed in my games, even in high elo, is people forget to use certain cards when in reality they're broken, right? So I'm going to show you guys 3 examples of 3 cards that are actually broken that people don't really use. So the first card we're going to talk about is melon rinds. The same way you forget that you have this card, the enemy team forgets that you have it, right? So make sure to place the melon rinds in places to where they're going to walk through, because I promise you they're not going to shoot them, or they're going to forget they're even there. And that could be the difference between you winning a gunfight. The second card that I want to talk about is explosive shots. So this card is actually not underrated. A lot of people do pick it, but they don't know how to use it, right? They think that it does more damage on impact, but actually it doesn't. This card does AoE damage. It does the exact same amount of damage when you shoot them on their body, but it'll do AoE damage if it hits the ground. So make sure that if you have this card and they're holding a specific angle, that you're shooting around that kind of angle, right? To do AoE damage. Even if it's only doing like 5 damage, 6 damage, it doesn't matter. It's damage nonetheless, and that could be, again, the reason you win a gunfight. Now, the third final card that I want to talk about is zombies. Bro, I can't tell you how many games, bro, I've played to where people forget they are zombies, or the enemy team forgets that you are a zombie. But the zombie card is, bro, it's broken, dude. If the enemy team knows that you're a zombie, then it's not right. But if they forget, bro, then you're good, bro. You're gonna win the game, right? Like, for example, right here, I got shot. She didn't realize that I was a zombie. Boom. Pulled up. Killed him. One of the things that people don't know about zombies is you can still plant as a zombie, and you can defuse as one too. And you get movement speed. Take advantage of those, guys. Alright, guys, and for the 5th and final tip of today's video, we're gonna be talking about lancers. Alright. So remember earlier how I said that you shouldn't be aggressive, but that you could still be aggressive depending on what lancer you pick? That's what we're gonna be talking about today. Alright. So you gotta pick a lancer based on your playstyle. There's a lot of lancers here to pick from, right? I can make a whole video on me just explaining what each lancer does, right? But again, since we've been doing 3 examples, I'll show you guys 3 examples of 3 different lancers with 3 different play styles. All right. So the first lancer we're gonna be talking about, Baby Girl Hollow Point. Hollow Point is a passive player because one of her abilities is she has a sniper, she has a smoke screen, and she has a trap that when proc will tell you where the enemy team is. And we have another lancer, Pathogen, who she's more of a healer, right? She places walls, she throws heals, and she has like another little trap that does like poison damage, right? So if you're more of a passive player, you can still kind of be mid-aggressive with her, but she's more of a let me stand back, throw heals at my allies, and kind of heal them. And we're gonna talk about Accent. Accent is the perfect aggressive kind of lancer. If you're somebody who just wants to rush in, you don't care about being, I don't know, passive, you don't want to wait, you got no patience, bro, Accent is your guy, bro. My boy has a shotty, had bombs, and has a mask that neglects flash grenades and such. But yeah, guys, that right there was 5 tips for beginners, man. I do hope y'all enjoyed it. Again, I do apologize if it was kind of a bit rough. I've never done this kind of videos, man. But I wanted to do this video for the new people that are hopping on the game, bro. This game is lit, man. Such a good game. I love playing it, dude. It's so cool, and I do want more people to hop on it, bro. If y'all want to see more, I don't know, tips on specific things, man, let me know, man. I'm not a pro, but I am in Masters. You know what I'm saying? Which is nothing. I gotta hit Punk Masters. All right. But yeah, guys, if y'all like this video, man, please leave a like and a sub so I can continue making these kinds of videos. And I will see you guys in the next. All right. Y'all stay blessed, guys. Peace.